Hello YouTube. I would like to share some thoughts which I've seen a few videos of this gun. This is the Aselkon Emperador LS1. It comes there's several models, but they share basically the same breech block, fill cylinder and barrel. It's just that the stock changes. I have the LS1 has the foldable stock, and I forget which one of the others. There's 2, 3, and 4. I forget which one of the others. One comes in a bullpup, one comes in a normal stock, and I think the last model also has kind of like a normal stock, but I forget exactly what's the deal with the fourth one. Maybe it's lower power for specific region regulations. Anyway, there's a lot of reviews on that and how accurate this gun is, or maybe sometimes exaggerated on YouTube. For me, this gun shoots around 1-inch groups at 50 meters. It's not that good. It's a budget gun, although in some places they sell it expensive because it looks fancy. So not particularly accurate. Anyway, for a budget gun, it's fine. So back to this thing. I want to share some of the issues I found with this gun, which I find very annoying, some positive sides of it, and the workaround I found for most things I find annoying. So the first one is the gun is very, very noisy. It doesn't come with a suppressor. It comes with two of these threaded protection. One is meant to be left on there so you can tighten the suppressor on it, and the other one is just to keep the threads protected. But without that, the shroud you see, this is not the barrel, this is a shroud covering it. The shroud is purely aesthetical. It has no suppressor function. The barrel is a little bit thinner, but it is quite thick. It's like, I think, 14 millimeters, if I remember right. That I like. It means if I can get the rifle to shoot more powerful, I can probably shoot slugs at around 270 meters per second and still not abuse too much of the barrel. So that I like. What I don't like is that any suppressors that's thicker than the shroud actually would touch the cap for the fill probe. And in fact, if you can see, that I have already done. I had to take it off and make a rubber fill probe cap for it, because otherwise it would touch. So let's just briefly mention the other thing, which I haven't found a fix for yet. I don't know if you can see. Let me try and get the shadow away. I don't think my camera focuses well enough in there. Yeah, this gauge is broken. It doesn't read any more pressure and it leaks. So I've had to order a new one from Ali. So that said, let's go into the other problems and solutions I found for this rifle. So most of the other annoying things that have happened to me are related to the valves. There's two valves. There's one here that keeps your pressure cylinder pressurized even when you take it off the rifle, and there's one inside here which is the main popper valve. Both are very hard to seal. I've had crazy trouble getting it to seal. I've had to actually take it apart to find a workaround to be able to fill just the cylinder and then use the pressure inside, because I don't at the time I didn't have a compressor nor a scuba tank. So I use this as a scuba tank. I would pressurize this to 60 bar or so, and then I'd screw it on and the pressure would surge and seal the other valve. But that was really difficult to do. I had to make some modifications. So let's go into it. To take it apart, you will need a few. Let me show. A few things come handy. So these Seeger I don't know what's the correct name for it. Those like half broken washers. This is a tool to squeeze and pull them out. This is handy for taking the part of the valve assembly. I will show you later. It has a original valve assembly. That comes in handy, and then you will need a piece of rubber to protect this, because that originally it's quite tight and I couldn't get it loose. In fact, I scraped it, and if you can see, I scraped it already. And then this tool, which is actually meant for, like a special wrench for taking out the oil filter in cars, but it comes in handy here because this is perfectly smooth. There's nothing you can put a wrench on it, a classical wrench. So I use this. In my case, it's already been loosened. I hand tighten it just to avoid this kind of problem. So I'll just go ahead and pop the cylinder off and put that on the table, and we'll talk the issues I've had there. Okay. So, as I was saying, this pressure cylinder has a valve in there. When you screw it on, it squeezes that little nipple in there and allows the air to flow into the regulator and into the plenum. That was very difficult to seal. Now, this is already loose. I would use again the tool I showed just earlier to unscrew this. This has already been unscrewed. And depressurized. Incidentally, to depressurize that rifle, there's one trick you can use. I'll go back and show you. So, I don't know if you can see there, but in this wee little hole, you can see the valve stem and the hammer that will come and hit it. So you cock it, you stick in an Allen wrench, and you twist it until you get the valve to open, and then you can depressurize the rifle safely. So that said, let's go and have a look at this. Is the valve assembly. I've actually already modified this because let's open it. So I'll show you what the valve stem looks like. So this is the spring that pushes the valve closed. This is the valve itself. And the valve seat, the original valve seat, is this wee little thing. It would seat the other way around, so the O-ring would press against the body there, and then the valve would sit here. It's slightly conical, and it should seal well because it's plastic, but there's something wrong with this. I'm not sure if the tolerances are just not good enough. I just couldn't get it to seal. Not even with a car compressor that would push a ton of air. I just couldn't get it to seal. The 10 bar that I could get out of the car compressor, automotive compressor, just wasn't enough. I just couldn't get it to seal. With the hand pump, you'd have to pump like crazy and probably destroy the high pressure O-rings. So that would kind of like kill it. So let me squeeze out. So to get this to seal, I made a little mod. I replaced this with the fattest O-ring I could find. The fattest, I forget what the inner hole was. The inner diameter of it is slightly bigger than this, so that it would allow, when the valve comes back, it allows air to flow out. But it's tight enough so that when the valve goes all the way down, it would squeeze the O-ring and seal. And it would seal really easily and very easy to fill this and then get this to seal the other valve. Can't can't get the valve out, let me come and pick it out with a paper clip. So here we are. This would sit like this, a little bit loose, and when the valve comes all the way down there, it would squeeze a little bit, just enough to seal, and then it gives it enough room for this valve to actually open when you tighten this. And this has worked very well for me. I'm very pleased with this modification. And even though now I have the PCP compressor, I can still fill this up no problem with the hand pump. So let's reassemble this. As I was actually, another thing I should mention, this valve has actually been polished, because when I couldn't get the original valve seat to seal, I thought that maybe if I polish it and make the surface really smooth, it might help it to seal, but it still wouldn't make any difference. I couldn't get it to seal, even after I polished it. The other thing I do, originally this would be screwed almost all the way down until it starts getting tight and probably tightens up against this, and then the valve would just ride inside there. Now that I don't have the plastic valve seat that would actually take the force pushing on the valve and spread it out and not put a chamfer on the aluminium body, I now don't screw that all the way, just barely a couple of threads round. There'll be plenty of pressure once this is filled to 200 bar. There'll be plenty of pressure pushing down on the valve. No real need to have it squeezed down so hard on the aluminium body, which would tend to warp a little bit. So much for that. Now, when you put this back together, I don't advise to tighten again so tight that you would actually need the wrench to do it. I generally just do that. I clean the hands and just tighten it as tight as I can with the hands, and that generally does the trick for me. The other issue I had is, obviously I was mentioning before, this little gauge. Don't know if you can see, but it has something weird is happening inside. It doesn't register any pressure anymore, and it's leaking. I'm not sure if it's leaking from here or something else came loose. I don't know. I just can't get it to seal. Initially I worked around by putting some rubber along with this isn't the original piece, but there's some plastic washer with which this would originally seal against. It's a little bit smaller than this, the original one, but for some reason, no matter how much I tighten this, it would still leak. Even if I put a piece of solid rubber behind it, something else was still leaking, so I gave up on that, and I put a little piece of rubber on either side while waiting for the replacement to arrive. I put a little piece of rubber on either side of the original, and okay, this is a little bit tighter, so you can actually see where the rubber got squeezed into the little hole that would let the pressure into the gauge. This one's more noticeable. But the side effect of this, when I took this apart to make this video, the rubber had got squeezed so much it didn't want to come out. So I pressurized the tank a little bit, and it still wouldn't come out. And thank God, while I was playing with it, trying to get it to come out, I wasn't in front of it, and then it shot it out. So I was able to recover the rubber. This one I was able to pull out from the outer side. This one that was behind the plastic washer was stuck in there, and this got shot out with the plastic washer, which I can't find in the house. I've been looking for it a couple of days. I still can't find it, so I guess it's lost. But thank God, with the new gauges I ordered on Ali, I'm gonna get 2 washers for each gauge. I decided to buy 2 gauges because if this one was short-lived and broke internally, I'm suspecting the other one that's behind the pressure regulator and tells you your regulated pressure, I expect that to fail as well. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have a spare ready. These that's the other funny thing with this. These threads are neither 1/8 NTP or 1/8 BSPP. They're actually metric. These are 10 by 1, which is very uncommon for pressure gauges. Generally, the ones that seal on the threads are 1/8 NTP, and the ones that seal on the face are 1/8 BSPP. These are 10 by 1 metric. Odd thing. It's good I was able to find out, because how did I realize it wasn't either? I have a regulator which comes with I'll take it out and show you, which comes with 1/8 NTP threads, and I couldn't get that to screw on. So this regulator comes with pressure gauge and the quick fill probe and blah blah blah. These two are both 1/8 NTP, and I couldn't get it to screw on there. It would like do, I don't know, two turns and then jam. I also have an adapter for 1/8 BSPP, and that adapter, it's also male. That adapter wouldn't screw in there. Just again, it would turn a little bit. This actually goes all the way down. Don't know if you can see, but it goes freely, nearly all the way down. While the 1/8 BSPP and NTP would only screw like 2 turns and then they would jam. So I said it's neither. Thank God I have one of these little things. And I said, okay, let's hope it's metric. Well, I can even show you. Unfortunately, the 1mm thread pitch seems to match perfectly. So that's how I came to find out this thing. I'm not sure if my camera is good enough to show that, but that's a perfect fit. So I think this is it for this gun. If you like this content, this kind of content, please subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Have a good one.